Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to discuss a little bit about the T110E3 and especially the supposed nerf it should receive in the 8.1 update. For that, I'm going to base myself on Drudle's video called T110E3 is ruined in the 8.1 update, where based on the thumbnail, he's talking about the cupola of the tank being slightly weaker down to probably something that would make the whole tank useless. He's basing his informations on the 8.1 preview from Blitzhanger, because if you scroll down all the way to the end, you will see that, the module is a little bit bugged, but for the 8.1 update, and it's reversed, so here is the 8.1 and here is the 8.0. When we go to the 8.1, it seems like, it goes slightly yellow, which implies that it would be really easy to penetrate that tank, isn't it? But I have some good news for you. On the official Blitz account on Instagram, so you see that it's the real one right there because they are certified, they released the camo of the T110E3, the bulwark. And in the comments, most of the comments were about, hey, Wargaming, why are you nerfing the T110E3? For example, we're going to take the please don't nerf T110E3 from Feder Miko. And Wargaming responded beside that, and it's the real account because you see when I put my cursor on their name, it appears that it's the real one. And they're saying, we won't. So basically, I'm expecting for once, that would be the first time, but Blitzhanger got their news wrong because they are not touching the T110E3 beside adding a legendary camo. Maybe Wargaming is also trolling and don't want to create a hype or anything like that. But it seems like, no, it's not going to be buffed or nerfed or anything, just added a legendary camo. And it's totally logic from Wargaming not to touch the T110E3, because if they did, it would make it completely obsolete. Because I want to remind you that beside the T110E3, you also have the T110E4, which is slightly weaker because of the armor profile. But as soon as you make a huge weak spot on the T110E3, making its whole armor useless, then yes, everybody would go for the T110E4 because the T110E3 would just be the T110E4 without the fully traversable turret, or not fully traversable, but 180 degrees. So it would make the T110E3 completely useless. This is something Wargaming doesn't want to happen because there is no, how could I say that, no reason for that at all, because the tank is not broken. It's still a really good tank, the T110E3, but not broken because you can still circle it, and the tracks are pretty weak in my opinion. So in the end, guys, false alarm, everything is fine. The only thing the T110E3 is going to receive is that legendary camo, and you are still going to be happy playing that game, playing that tank, and bouncing literally everything in front of you, because that's what the T110E3 is all about. It's a bunker, and Wargaming knows, the players know, and therefore, if everybody knows it's a bunker, it has to stay with this playstyle. You are here to brawl. It's one of the few tanks at tier 10 that can really bounce easily some shots, especially when you're hiding the lower part of the hull, and it's gonna stay like that. Maybe Wargaming is trolling, and yes, they are gonna nerf it, but I don't think they will, because usually when the Instagram account tells you something, they are staying in line and they don't try to troll players or anything like that, because if Wargaming really nerfed the T110E3, the community would be a little bit pissed. I mean, you could nerf one or two things about the T110E3, but making the main reason to grind that tank completely useless would be something shameable, let's say. Because yeah, if you if you weaken the cupola, I mean, the whole armor is useless because everybody will know that they only have to shoot at you on this part of the tank instead of the traditional lower part of the hull. So now, what's the playstyle of the T110E3? Because we have some time to spare and I want to get my 8 minutes of monetization, I'm not gonna lie. So basically, the T110E3, guys, the grind is really harsh. I mean, when you take a look at the grind, you have the T28 that kind of sucks. The T95, here it's a double-edged sword because some people really love it and can play it all day long. And unfortunately, I'm not one of those. I'm just saying that the T95 is horrific to play. But at least a really cool thing to notice about the T110E3, especially those days, is that it requires the turbo to work fine. Here I highlight it because I'm using it right now. This thing here allows you to get the mobility that you could be lacking at tier 10 when you have to push or do things like that. So yeah, nowadays I feel like the T110E3 is one of the few tanks that are really good to play, and they are for newbies. Not a lot of YouTubers are going to tell you that, but I strongly believe that the T110E3 is one of the greatest tanks to begin with for you to understand how to play tank destroyers, because the T110E3 will allow you not to be punished every time you do a mistake thanks to its huge armor. All you have to do is learning the positions from which you can hide the lower part of the hull, and you should be safe as long as you're not encountering an Hori or a Jagdpanzer E100 using gold shell. So this is it. That's it for the T110E3. I just hope that some of you could sleep or are going to be able to sleep at night knowing that maybe their favorite tank is not going to be nerfed. So now, what else can we talk about concerning the T110E3? It's not only packing armor, it also has a really reliable gun in my opinion, because you have 640 alpha damage like the traditional tank destroyer. But unlike the others, with this one you can take the time to aim because you know your enemies are not going to be able to penetrate you. Maybe one thing to be careful about those tanks that have a huge HE penetration, because I'm going to show you that real quick. But this part right there on the tank, I'm talking about right there, this thing here. If you shoot at that with HE, you are going to penetrate with HE. It happened to me a couple of times with an E100 face hugging a T110E3. I just switched to HE and boom, 1k damage straight into that small spot. So be careful when you're using your T110E3, because if the enemies in front of you know about the weak spot, you are dead. Don't worry, it's not a lot of people that are aware of that, and even if I say it right now in the video, it's not going to change too much the things, because usually when people are confronting a T110E3 in real battle, they really struggle penetrating that that viewport, and on top of that they don't want to waste a shell, so they would rather try to circle you and go for the lower part of the hull. But yeah, to sum up, T110E3 is safe, it's not going to get nerfed, and it's going to get a legendary camouflage, so everybody is happy. Hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and I'm going to see you soon for a new video. Bye.